and here I am again in front of my TBR shelf to show you the classics that are on my 2020 TBR. Now, I've kind of already shown you my TBR shelf and some of the classics, but I just kind of showed you the titles and everything, and now I want to talk a little bit more about the classics that I want to try to read in 2020. Here we go. These are in no particular order, just however I happen to grab them off the shelf. So right at the very top, I have 1984 and Brave New World. I kind of think of these as going together because, you know, dystopian stuff. I had finally read Fahrenheit 451, and people kept saying, oh, well, if you like that, then you'll like this one. And then I say, well, I didn't like Fahrenheit 451, so yeah. But I do want to try to read both of these, at least just to be able to say that I read it. And I'm sure there are some really interesting ideas in here. Even if I don't necessarily like the story, from what I've heard, there are like just some very interesting ideas. So gotta give these a try. I do want to read James Fenimore Cooper's The Last of the Mohicans. Actually, I have several of his books over here. Yeah, I also have The Deer Slayer. So I have Last of the Mohicans and The Deer Slayer. However, I think this is the first one in a series, and this one I think is the last one in the series. You're supposed to read The Pathfinder before you read this one, or something. I don't know. You know, I realized I've never read any James Fenimore Cooper. How is that possible? So I definitely want to try these out. I've watched the movie of The Last of the Mohicans and liked it. So I'm interested to see like what is his writing style like, and how, you know, these adventurous plots and everything. I really want to dive in with this author. I feel like I would enjoy it. So we're going to try these out. Another James Fenimore Cooper is The Pilot and the Red Rover. So these are more like sea tales. You know, the Last of the Mohicans is about, you know, Indian tribes and stuff. But these are more, I think, like, you know, ships and things. Let me see. Yeah, so this is more like sailors and adventure on the high seas kind of stuff. So this is actually more up my alley. I do love a good high seas adventure. So maybe I should start with these and then go on and read the other ones. We'll see. Lots of Cooper in my future this year. One of my favorite authors is Rudyard Kipling, so I have the portable Kipling. Now, a lot of this I've already read. Like, I've already read The Man Who Would Be King and Just So Stories, and of course the Jungle Books, you know. But some of these I want to go through and reread, and then read some of the other ones that maybe I haven't read. So there's just a whole bunch in here of short stories and soldiers' tales and tales of India, you know. There's just all kinds. There's a lot of his poetry in here and stuff. So this will be a really fun way to both revisit this author and also to kind of discover more from this author. I have Edith Hamilton's Mythology, which is Timeless Tales of Gods and Heroes. So I think this is just Greek mythology. Oh no, actually it follows Greek and Roman and Norse mythology. So it's just kind of mythology all over the place. So this will be fun to sort of revisit some of the, you know, Greek and Roman stories that I already know, and, you know, myths that I already am familiar with, and also to learn some new ones. This has been on my shelves for a million years, and I still have just never read it. It's the Federalist Papers, like the actual historical documents of the Federalist Papers. I think it's important to know your history and to know the history of your nation. And I think this will be a very interesting read to kind of see the roots of American history and then be able to see how far we've come from there and how we've preserved that heritage, but also, you know, changed and evolved, hopefully progressed for the better. I also have Benjamin Franklin's autobiography. Somehow I'm all about the American history this year, guys. I don't know. These American books are ones that have been sitting on my shelves forever, and finally I'm just like, you know what? Get it read. Just read it. Just finish it. Just do it. So Ben Franklin, I don't know, seems like a very strange and interesting character. There's a lot of weird historical rumors that go around about him. He was definitely a person who broke the mold. and thought outside the box and all of it, you know. So, Ben Franklin, we're going to see. I have read Atlas Shrugged, and I really enjoyed it. I skipped through about 70 pages of just, you know, capitalism ranting. But I am interested to read The Fountainhead. It's a much shorter book than Atlas Shrugged is. Hopefully I won't have to skip quite so many political rants and everything. Yeah, so I'm kind of excited to try this, but I'm also kind of like, oh, it's such a big commitment to sit down and read this. So I don't know, we will just have to see if this happens this year. I am not a fan of Thomas Hardy. I did not like Tess of the D'Urbervilles. I did like Far from the Madding Crowd because it had a happy ending. Thomas Hardy is not known for his happy endings, and I kind of feel like with Far from the Madding Crowd, I've already topped out the best of Thomas Hardy, and anything else I read of Thomas Hardy, I'm just not going to enjoy as much as that, or just not going to enjoy at all. But I do have Jude the Obscure, and I do want to try it. I do like Thomas Hardy's writing style. I don't know, we're gonna see. I'm gonna give Thomas Hardy another chance. Last year, I wanted to read Madame Bovary, and I did not get around to it, and so this is probably the very first classic that I'm gonna read this year, and it's very short, and so I probably, hopefully, I could get this one done in January. I have 3 Daphne du Maurier books. I have Rule Britannia, and The House on the Strand, and The Parasites. I have read several Daphne du Maurier books that I have really enjoyed, of course, and so I want to read more from her. I probably will not read all 3 of these this year, but because I'm a mood reader, I like to have choices, and so I will pick one of these maybe, or maybe 2, and read some Daphne du Maurier this year. I have never read anything by Jack London. This is The Call of the Wild, The Sea Wolf, White Fang, The Son of the Wolf, The Iron Heel, and The People of the Abyss, all in one big fat volume. So I might choose one of these to read. I mean, I did read like a children's version of The Call of the Wild when I was a kid, like a children's illustrated classic. So I guess I could sort of say that I've read some Jack London, but I've not read the real thing. I've read the children's abridged version. So I'm not sure. We're gonna try it. We're gonna see. I feel like I would enjoy this, but we'll just see. We'll just see what happens. I have 2 books by J.M. Barrie. I have Sentimental Tommy, and this one is The Little White Bird. So you can see they're just old library copies with stuff crossed out. J.M. Barrie wrote Peter Pan, and I do love Peter Pan and Peter in Kensington Gardens. I just think those are the sweetest old-fashioned little children's books. And then I went in and tried to read these 2. I've tried to read these before and have DNF'd them because I just couldn't grasp what the story was about. There's all these weird rabbit trails, and it just goes off on these crazy tangents, and I was like, where's the structure? And if you guys have followed my reading for a while, you know I like structure. I'm that way in real life too. I like structure in real life. So I don't want to give up on these quite just yet though. I'm going to try them again this year. And if I have to DMF them again, then I'm just going to say, oh well, too bad. So sad. It didn't work. Here's another one that has been on my shelves forever, The Phantom of the Opera. I do love the musical, the movie of this. I don't know why I have waited so long to read the book. I love this story. I love everything about it. I mean, I'm a musician, so anything about opera or being on stage or musicians or anything is sure to capture my attention. So I just need to get this one read. Last year, I wanted to read Elizabeth Gaskell's The Life of Charlotte Bronte, and I did not get around to it, so this is definitely on the top of my classics TBR list for this year. I've heard a lot of stuff that Elizabeth Gaskell kind of stretched the truth a little bit and elaborated some things on her own, so you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt, but I am interested to read this and to understand more about the Bronte sisters and kind of about Elizabeth Gaskell, because as the author, you know, her personality is going to show through as well. I also have Tom Jones by Henry Fielding. This is quite a chunk of a book. This is a pretty big one, so it's 800 something pages. I really have no idea what this is about. I refuse to read the synopsis on the back, don't look, because so often the synopsises will have spoilers, so I literally have no clue, other than it says Penguin Classic at the top. That's the only thing I know about it. I want to read Anna and the King of Siam. This is actually the story behind the King and I play and musical and movie, and it has like a movie thing on the front. I do love this movie. The King and I is such a sweet musical, and I really love the culture shock that Anna goes through when she's, you know, trying to understand this new culture. And because I spent most of my life in culture shock and straddling two different cultures and, you know, straddling two different languages and being bilingual and everything, I feel like there's going to be a lot in here that I really identify with, and that's a lot that I love from the movies. I hope I'll find it and even more in the book. And I have The Good Soldier, A Tale of Passion. Again, I refuse to read the back. I don't know what this is about other than the fact that it looks like a Penguin Classic. That's all I know about it. I like the painting, you know, on the cover. It looks pretty neat. And we're just gonna see what this one's about. It's also pretty short, so it looks like it's, what, 200 something pages. So this will be a good one to read, maybe at the end of the year when I'm trying to meet my goals. And those are all the classics that I am gonna read this year. I gotta put them all back up on the shelf now. Please leave me a comment down below and let me know what classics are you planning to read this year. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and remember, the right book in the right hands at the right time can change the world.